Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to my booth. I'm Jay. Today's sample comes to us from Ray. Thanks for sending this in, Ray. If you'd like me to review audio of yours, hey, there's a form. It's in the description. Fill it out, send me something. We'll put you in a video just like this. There's also coaching on my website. It's a lot like this, more one-on-one. If you don't want to wait in line for me to get to your sample, that's an option for you if that's more your speed. With that said, hey, Ray, let's give this a listen and see what's going on. It's a commercial demo.
We have big plans in Europe, in the USA, globally, with our existing customers, with new customers, and with you. Welcome to a new chapter of our joint success.
Really strong start. I love that ad. It's formatted really well. Your delivery of it is really great. You have tonally a bit of poise, and you have a sort of intelligence to your delivery there. It's all really, really nicely done. I love the way that you fade the music out to give the final sort of delivering it home. While we're paused, one real quick thing that I just want to touch on, your levels overall are a bit too quiet for a demo in total. So I'm going to boost this a bit to bring it up. Unfortunately, this last bit, pardon me, isn't as compressed as the others. So I'm going to bring that down in level with everything. Then I'm going to turn everything up together. The conventional wisdom for demos here and the loudness that you want to get, somewhat it depends on how you're presenting them, who you're presenting them, what platforms you're on. Generally, having them normalized to -3 dB is about good. Some people say -1 dB, but one or the other is a good place to aim for. Additionally, as you notice, as I turned everything up there, some of your spots, like that little sort of tagline for that last ad here, it's relatively quiet compared to a lot of the other places where you're speaking. Like here, for example, it's going to get much louder. And then here it comes back down to a quieter level. So making sure that from one sample of yours to the next, everything's at about the same loudness. And that's something that you can tweak individually before you comp it all together to make sure that it's all about the same. With that said, again, first ad really great. Let's listen on.
One company, one purpose, one hell of a future. Its fingers were...
Okay, pausing because that's a really small thing. This little bit, it's great to have a first ad be exactly you, and I think you've nailed that. It's a great representation of sort of what I would imagine if I were to just introduce myself to you. Hey, Jay, or hey, Ray, I'm Jay, and we had a brief conversation. I'd probably peg like, yeah, this sort of ad is right in your wheelhouse. We can cast you in this stuff all the time. By contrast, this next one being so brief, generally, so the first ad, what you do, it's in your wheelhouse. That can be 10 to 15 seconds, no problem. The next ad should be briefer and just give us an idea of another thing that you can do, another color of Ray, another thing that's in your wheelhouse. This, for me, is a little too brief for me to really latch on to why I'm listening to it. Or, as another thing that might be going on, it's very similar in tone to the first thing that you've showed me. So it's sort of like sample A is this sort of like intelligent kind of businessman. He's got his stuff together. And then this next one still feels sort of in that corporate presentational world almost. So I might choose something that's a little bit sharper of a difference in color for this second spot. The other thing for this second spot, you'll notice that the quality of your recording has changed pretty significantly. I don't know if you changed your recording setup or if you had different settings or whatnot, but just give it a listen and you'll notice a pretty distinct shift in your speech from sample to sample here.
Welcome to a new chapter of our joint success. One company, one purpose, one hell of a future.
So all I'm saying there is, in terms of having a cohesive thing, you want them all to be operating at the same level. It doesn't mean you have to have necessarily the same setup every time, but it should be at the same level of audio quality. And this second sample, for my money, is not as clean as the first sample. It's a pretty distinct shift. It sounds, I don't know exactly what was going on, but it sounds different enough that I'm like, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, that's a lot about that second sample. Let's continue.
Its fingers were meat hooks, its teeth like piercing daggers. This ancient beast could wrap its hands around you while it bit your head off. And
Interesting to add that in. I don't know if that's a audiobook sample or something like that. It's good to get that sort of color from you. The thing here is generally with an ad or a demo that starts off with sort of advertisements, business to business type stuff, sort of corporate narration type things. This doesn't really fit in here. You'd want to make a completely separate demo for audiobook narration. Or if you have an ad that, if you really like this sort of material, this sort of tone that you've got going on, find an ad that lends itself to that and use that in its place, I would say. As far as your performance here, I think it's great as far as an audiobook. Again, it just doesn't really suit this this overall aesthetic that we're going for here. So I won't spend too much time on it in terms of this demo. Let's keep listening.
And according to research, is
Whoops, I think I skipped something.
While it bit your head off.
No, I didn't.
And according to research, is largely preventable. The type 1 diabetes disease, which usually occurs in childhood. Welcome.
Yeah, that's another good example we're getting an example of you going into like a medical narration. There's some more technical stuff. We're hearing a little bit of sentimentality to your voice, which is really nice. Again, the first sample sounds much cleaner to me in terms of your recording setup and the way that you've processed the audio relative to this one. I'm guessing it's some sort of microphone thing, but I would use, for whatever it's worth, the microphone or setup you used for this first bit, I dig, personally speaking, for whatever that's worth.
Nowhere else is the atmosphere more tense. Nowhere else are the fans such rival armies, never to be unified. Never. On April 19th, the football channel Sky changed that.
Yeah. See, that's a good one where the juxtaposition from your first ad.
Welcome to a new chapter.
We get this like warm, hey, here we are. Welcome to this new place where we do this. And this is like really dramatic, intense, clearly sports broadcasting type stuff. That's more of a sharp distinction. So butting this first one.
Welcome to a new chapter.
Up against.
On April 19th, the football channel Sky.
It's just a really distinct shift in tone, really distinct shift in the way you're delivering things. And that's the sort of like pull that we would, at least for my money, I like to see and hear in my demos.
I look forward to hearing from you and wish you all the best until next time. Me gone. Bye-bye.
I dig that too. I don't know what it is, to be honest, but I don't mind it. I might, I don't really have any feedback on that one, except it really like fades in there. So I don't know if you clipped it from something else, but it'd be nice if at least your voiceover didn't fade in the way it does.
I look forward to hearing.
It starts off with like, I'll look forward to hearing from, and by to hearing from you, we're at your full normal speaking volume. Before that, it sounds like it's being ramped up in gain or the volume in your DAW. But yeah, I do think if your intent with that one is sort of like a signature at an email, like if you were to send this demo to a prospective client as an example, and you're saying, hey, thanks for listening, it's a very, very nice gesture. I don't think it's needed. And honestly, in some circles, people have told me this. I don't know why it's the case, because I personally think it would be nice if someone was like, hey, really appreciate you taking the time to listen, etc. But some people, when they're listening, they're like, that's a waste of time for us in this fast moving industry. We don't have time for people to say thank you. So if that's the intent behind it, I might just snip it and go with the ads and stuff that you have and save the time for that stuff. Anyway, Ray, really, really great work again to just sort of go over everything that we've got. This first sample, really nice, really clean. I love it. It sounds exactly like you. This soccer sort of really hyped up announcery-ish one. It fits perfectly. And as I recall, I think you do this sort of stuff on a regular basis. Correct me if I'm wrong, but having those be the shift in colors, the shift in tone, shifting those around a bit, maybe picking and choose, swapping out the audiobook sample for something that fits in this world, and pulling the audiobook sample for a completely other type of demo. And yeah, I think you're off to a great... Oh, and then leveling all of your audio so that it, from sample to sample, it's all at about the same loudness before you composite them together. But all in all, nice work, Ray. Thanks for sending this in. I hope this was helpful for the rest of you as well. And until the next one of these, be well, everybody, and I'll see you there. Until then, toodles.